Today I'd like to show you some advanced casting techniques. I'm going to show you mending the line, doing an upstream reach, and a few different other casts. It's a beautiful day today for fly fishing anyway. It's cloudy, perfect. I'm going to start out by just pulling line off and let the current take it downstream. One of the first casts I'll show you is the roll cast pickup. Get the line, it's going down. We're going to bring the rod up halfway, we're going to roll cast, and then we're going to pick that up right off the water. Simply pick it up here, roll cast, and pick it up. Go right into your regular cast. Roll it, pick it up, and go. See that trout rising over there? We'll get them later. We're going to start out here with a reach mend. I'm going to cast with my back to you and watch. Moving around, just move that line around like a clock. I'm going to take a reach mend here. And you want to get a little bit more line on the upstream side. We simply make our cast and then reach it forward. Now what's going to happen is it's going to take longer for the current to to get your drag on the rod. And just reach it forward. Keep your rod tip high in both directions. Let it go, reach it forward. I'm going to turn around this way and cross body reach mend. Put it on this side of the camera and just reach your arm that way. Now you can take your line and give that an upstream mend, and that adds even more line upstream, and that will help you to get the longer drag-free drift. We got other casts. If you're fishing directly downstream, there's a fish rising directly downstream from you. Do what's called an umbrella cast. Simply cast it way up at the sky, and it'll all pile up right there in front of you. Let me show you on the sideways. Cast it up. I even bring it back a little bit. And now it's piled up right in front of us, and it has a lot of S-curves in there. So that will drift a long ways before it starts to drag. And then you can also, I have extra line here, you can also just kind of feed the line out, and it's still going drag-free. And I could take the whole line off the reel by doing this. I could get a 100-foot drag-free drift going downstream with the umbrella cast. Once again, take it and then cast it up and let it fall. And I have a whole bunch of S-turns on the water right there. That fish still rising over there. And here's a side view of the upstream cast, or the upstream mend. Or the upstream mend with the line on the water. Just take it and give your wrist a flick. Just like that. You don't have to pick up a lot of line. You don't want to pick up a lot of line because you don't want to move the fly. And that's going to add more line onto the water and keep your fly floating at a drag-free. That fish is still coming up over there. we'll let them feed for a while. Once again, we're facing straight up. If you're in a ripple, is probably the only time that one of the only times that I would cast directly upstream to a fish. We're just going to cast that straight up and as straight as you can. Then, because in the ripple the water's moving much quicker, you want to strip your line in at the same speed as the current. And then when it gets about halfway or out of the strike zone, you can easily make a roll cast pickup and shoot that line back out there. Then strip your line in at the same speed as the current once again. Pick it up into a roll cast pickup. Shoot that line. That's straight 40-foot shot right there. I'm going to shorten the line here quite a bit and face you. Now if you want to do like put a curve on your line, this is especially effective for upstream casts. I'm going to kind of bring my arm sideways, and I'm going to make this cast fast and stop it abruptly. What's going to happen is the fly line is going to go around, and the leader is going to like this. So that way your line is coming down in this lane, and your fly will be coming down in this lane. It's almost like fishing downstream, but you're fishing upstream. Load your rod up, and you want to get that line moving pretty quick. Hit it sideways, stop it abruptly, and that tippet is going to go right around. And this way your line isn't coming down right over the fish, and your leader's not coming down right over the fish to where they're going to rise for it and bump the leader. A lot of times they'll bump the leader and push the fly out of the way. He's still rising over there. A lot of times when I'm fishing in where the water's a little faster than this is pretty calm here, but I'll do an abrupt stop, you could call it. I'll face this way, but I'm going to stop it abruptly and let it fall, and then I give it that upstream bend once again. This is especially effective if you might have a distance to go and then an obstacle. Stop that abruptly. You can even pull back just a speck and then give it that upstream bend. I think I'm hearing thunder right now. I'm going to go and give that fish a shot before that thunderstorm comes. I have a Griffith's Gnat and a GSS emerger on. I'm going to use a bit of the upstream reach upstream reach was enough to get me a nice drag-free drift right through that feeding area. Strip in a little bit. There might be times where your back is only partially open. You only have enough back casting area for, let's say, half the cast. What you're going to have to do is shoot line. And this isn't hard at all. Just pick it up. We're going to build up speed. Build up some speed here. Punch it and let go. And I just doubled the distance. You don't necessarily want to double haul it. Just want to punch that line. and I just doubled the distance. It's not easy when your line that you have here is getting dragged with the water. Even with a dry fly, you can use the roll cast. What I like to do, if there's no room in back of me and I'm dry flying, I like to give it a roll cast, but push it off to the side there a little bit. Do it this way. Bring it up and pull it off and kind of keep your rod tip high. And this will give a little bit of time, gives it a bigger arc, and it helps the fly to dry out a little more. Keep that rod tip high when you're using a roll cast on a dry fly. Okay, I hope that you learned something about casting here today. I hope you put these tips into effect. I'm sure it will help improve your fish catching. And good luck, and we'll see you again next time. I'm going to go and try to catch that fish over my shoulder.